friends, welcome to episode 169 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha and I'm coming to you today from my home in Central Florida. Today is Friday, September 8th, and I'm glad to be back here with you guys today. It is a rare moment that I am by myself in the house, so I get to spend this time with you guys. Hooray! If you are a new viewer, welcome. I hope you find something here that you can connect with. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm glad to see you. I hope this last month has treated you well. So let's get started with some bright spots. Bright spots are good and positive, uplifting things that we share in the comments of each video. So if you would like to share a bright spot or something good that happened to you this last month or whenever, definitely leave it down in the comments so that it can be shared on the next episode. Our first bright spot comes from Xiaomeng, and it says, my recent bright spot is that we adopted our first dog from a rescue organization. His name is Pippi, and he's a mountain feist mix. I've seen him on Instagram, and it's quite a cute dog. So congratulations on your new puppy baby. And I hope that Pippi brings you as much joy as Tootie brings me. Even though I asked her to come over here so she could be on camera, and she totally turned around, curled back up in her crate, and went back to sleep. She doesn't care about my feelings. Our next bright spot is from Roz, and it says, my bright spots. Lovely new pajamas my mama sent me. They are very Pisces. And my increasingly reticent 13-year-old boy wanted all my advice about true love, God, the world, and everything. And we were able to have a long old chat together. I felt so very blessed that evening. That is a really, really nice bright spot. Also, Roz started a podcast, and it's called Rosemonde Knits. And she has 2 episodes out, and I'm very proud of her for starting and recording and posting. So go check her out. The next bright spot is from Mom of Peg, and it says, my bright spot, today is my 26th wedding anniversary, and my granddaughter is 11 months. Congratulations, happy anniversary. Well, happy super belated anniversary. Our next bright spot is from Lori Lulu, and she said that her bright spot came on her birthday. I'm kind of rephrasing it because the way that it's written, it's like the whole post, like the whole comment went together. But I'm going to read the part that is highlighted. It says, but on Sunday, which was also my birthday, I saw this post on Facebook. She believed she could, but she was tired, so she rested. And you know what? The world went on and it was okay. She knew she could try again tomorrow. So as I start a new level of life, I'm taking these words with me, and that is my bright spot. The next bright spot is from Angela. It says, my bright spot is I received a temporary job. I'll be located closer to my kids, and it has a chance to turn into a permanent position. I also found temporary housing so I can bring my cats with me. Congrats on the new job. And I'm glad that you'll be able to be closer to family and keep your fur babies. Emilia's bright spot is making baby items to donate at a nearby women's shelter. Marquita's bright spot is that she's hosting her first make-along, and she's calling it the Vestember Make-Along for those that would like to make a vest by September 30th before the chill fall weather sets in. Congrats, Marquita, on hosting your first make-along, and I hope that it goes really well. I have been seeing posts about it from her community tab here on YouTube, and it looks really exciting. Pearl Monster's bright spot says, my bright spot for the last 2 weeks, my bright spot for these past 2 weeks was that I turned the Advent minis that looked wrong in every pattern I tried into a Just Feel Festive shawl. And this is exactly what they want it to be. Now I'm on to weaving in all the ends. Well, thank you for making my pattern, and I'm so glad that it fit with the minis that you have. So that's all of the bright spots that were shared on the last episode. Um, let's see. My bright spot for today is that I got to talk to one of my college friends' classrooms. She has a mixed grade class. She's just in a private school, and she had me join a Zoom for her class to tell them all about plants. And it was so nice. So I got to sit outside with my plants all around me and talk to, it was a group of first through fourth graders. And we kind of like quickly chatted about some plants, and hopefully the plan is to talk to them again this coming Friday, to get some more of their questions answered. And so that's why I'm wearing my Monstera Mama shirt, because, you know, I was out there with all my plant babies. So that was a really fun experience for me. So let's get into the craftiness. Finished objects. So I wrote these show notes probably 2 weeks ago. And in that 2 weeks, I have finished more things. So I'm just gonna, we're just gonna dig in. Okay, so the first finished object that I have on my list is my third secret summer secret summer crop. It's a pattern by Jessie Mae Martinson, and I fell in love with it, evidently, and I decided to make 3. So this is the third one. It's all crushed up because it's in the bottom, or it was like mixed in the bin of my knitwear. This pink yarn is a solid yarn that I got at Hobby Lobby years ago. This contrast, I think, yeah, this contrast was a mini or a ball of leftovers or something like that I'm fairly certain I got from my friend Lori a while ago. And it was just so pretty that I just didn't know what to do with it, so it was hanging out in my stash. So I decided to do a contrast hem and contrast straps, and I really like how it came out. I do modifications on here. I make the size, whatever size it is, for a 40-inch bust, and the 40-inch bust, the final measurements of that give me a really nice loose fit that I like. It's not too, you know, it's not negative ease at all, and that's something that I'm realizing I don't like. You know, because sometimes we don't feel too good in our bodies, and I'm having a lot of those times. So negative ease things are not where I want to be right now. So this has a couple inches of positive ease when I wear it, and it's very comfortable. And this size for me takes less than one 100-gram fingering weight skein of yarn, which I really like. That way I can just kind of knit into oblivion, you know? So the modifications that I do, this is written to be a crop top. I extend the length. So the length from the sleeve split to the end of the ribbing is 14 inches, and I found that is my sweet spot. I traded out the straps. The pattern has you do I-cord straps, but I have traded it for single crochet straps, and I do 4 single crochets across and just go back and forth until the straps are long enough. These straps worked up, I think, a little bit shorter, no, a little bit longer than intended, because I thought this was a fingering weight yarn, and it's actually like sportering. So it's like kind of between a sport weight and a fingering weight, so thick fingering. So they came out a little bit longer, but I don't care. It's fine. I love it anyway. I do I did the bind off, like a contrast bind off here, and then the way that I reinforce my crochet straps to keep them from stretching is that I do a row or 2 rows of slip stitches, just going up and over the straps to reinforce them. So I'll start on the back here and I go up, come around here. What did I do? I single crocheted across the edge, went around the other strap, came back, single crocheted back across, and then went down the other strap. So I had like a little loop-de-loop going. So the straps don't stretch because of that slip stitching. I really like this edging here with the single crochets. It keeps it from kind of like flipping over, which is something that I noticed was happening in my first 2. So the very first secret summer crop that I made, I did it more or less to pattern, where you just, it's stockinette and then you have just a bind off of the stockinette, and that rolled. So I did the edging and then crocheted across it, and it kind of stopped the rolling, but it looked a little, I didn't really like it. So the second time I worked this, I did, I think I did ribbing, a little bit of ribbing across the front edge, which helped with the rolling. And I didn't do a crochet edge across, I don't think. And I was like, okay. But then this time I did a little bit more ribbing and the crochet edge, and I really, really like that. So the one thing that I really enjoyed about making the pattern like 3 times in a row was that I could make those immediate changes and see how they affected the overall fit of the garment, which was really cool to make note of. So there's that. I've worn it quite a few times. As you can see from the back, can you see? Yeah, you can see how all of that is pilling already, and that is thanks to my locks. They wreak havoc on the back of my hand knits, but what you gonna do? So that's my first finished object. Put you over there. Who's coming out next? Next on the list is the Covenant crop, and this is a pattern by CraftyMed. Oh, that's the back. This sweater, I haven't worn it yet because I wanted to show it on the podcast first, but this sweater, as I was knitting it, I was talking to my best friend Amber, and she said, what did she call it? Did she call it the unicorn fart? No, she didn't call it unicorn farts. She called it the unicorn marshmallow sweater. And I really, really like how it came out. This pattern was written to be made using Lion Brand Mandala yarn. And this is the colorway Serpents, I think. And I used 2 balls of it. Not 2 complete balls. It was like maybe 1 and a bit more than a half. And I really liked that because I used the 1 1/2, I was able to get through the whole rainbow striping sequence, and I think it looks really nice. The thing I'm most proud of with this sweater are my cuffs here, because this yarn that I use for the cuffs is not from the ball. This is from a skein of ombre red heart yarn that I had in my stash, and I was scouring my stash looking for a yarn that would match this stripe or get as close to this stripe as I could, because I wanted the sleeves to kind of be in pattern. So I was super, super proud that I could find this yarn. And since it's ombre, I held the sweater up to the yarn and like moved it across the yarn until I found the point in the yarn that fit the colorway, that fit the color best. And then I knit my little ribbings for my sleeves. And yeah, So I am definitely going to wash this before I wear it, because this particular mandala has sparkle in it. Can you see that? You can see a little bit in the purple. But anyway, it's got sparkle in it, and it's a little bit scratchy. So I want to run it through the dryer to soften it up before I wear it out. I also did the size that accommodates 40 inches for the bust, because I'm learning that that is the amount of positive ease that I like. So I think my actual measurements are a 36. Let's find out. Hold it together. Yeah, okay. So 36.5 for the bra on. So 40 inches would give me, math, 3.5 inches of positive ease. So it's a little bit of wiggle room, breathing space, and I really like it. So did I do anything different with this neckline? I don't think I did. I think this is the neckline that goes with the size that I cast on. I was excited to try this pattern because it's similar in shape to the Trelawney top by Tammy Gore, and that is a fingering weight sweater pattern that I really like. I really like the way that it fits me. So this one being a DK weight sweater pattern, I wanted to see, you know, how I was gonna like this as well. One thing definitely, this size neckline is a bit too tight for me, she says, as she's wearing a crew neck tank top or t-shirt. This is actually choking me out right now, just so you know. But I think the next time I make this pattern, or I make a sweater from this pattern, I might go up a size for the neckline just to make it a little bit wider, because I think a wide neckline really is a lot more comfortable for me, and I feel better in a wider neckline. So that's that. Short sleeve sweater, as always. I rarely ever, have I ever knit a pullover with long sleeves? I don't think I have, because, you know, Florida. So I typically will knit all of my sweaters with short sleeves and carry a cardigan. So, oh, I love this little pastel rainbow. Where am I gonna wear this? When am I gonna wear this? It's 1,000,000 degrees outside, so in the stash it goes. Next on finished objects, I have a pair of no-show socks, and I think I had these halfway done on my last video. Yeah, because I was talking about the yarn and how I wasn't really feeling it. So this is the first sock that I finished, and here's the mate. I did notice after I finished them and I put them on, and I was like, why do these look different? I looked closer and I noticed that I did an eye of partridge. Is this an eye of partridge? No, this is just a slip stitch heel flap on this one, and I did not do a slip stitch heel flap on this one. So I've got left side and right side. I mentioned last time that I realized that because of how stretchy the yarn is, this yarn is Cascade Yarn Fixations, and it has I think a certain percentage of spandex in it, but I didn't account for the stretchiness of the yarn when I was making them, so they're too big. So today what I did was I did 2 rows of, yeah, you can see them, 2 rows of single crochet around the edge to kind of pull it together a bit so that they fit a little bit better. They are definitely not wear and shoes socks. like I wanted, because the whole reason that I made these was because I wanted a pair of no-show socks to wear with these little ballet flats that I have. These, they failed. They did not do what I made. They cannot do what I wanted them to do. So I have slippers. But I do want to make another pair of no-show socks using a fingering weight so I can actually wear them inside shoes. One of the things that I noticed, and I'm trying to decide if it's something that I want to work on, but this pattern is written to be made toe up. So I used, what kind of cast on was it? It's the cast on where you do like a figure 8 with the yarn around your needles. I forget which cast on that is, but I did it entirely too loose. So you can see straight through that. When I put these on, my toes are like, hello. So I'm just like, I need to go back and stitch it up or something like that to reinforce that. And then the fact that it's stretchy doesn't help because as I was knitting, I wasn't stretching the yarn. So when I put these on, the stitches along that seam at the bottom of the toe, along the cast on edge, they just stretch open. And that's not the business. So, but I have been wearing them. I do like them. The pattern was really well written. There was a point that I had to go back and read a couple times, and I think that was like around the heel flap situation, because any heel flap and gusset socks that I have done in ever, except for one pair, have been top down. So the idea and like the construction of a toe up heel flap and gusset, my brain was like, what do you mean? I had to turn it off and be like, just follow what the pattern says. Don't ask any questions, just follow instructions. But definitely will make again. I really liked these. We are just kidding on through. My next finished object is my freestyled crochet tank top. Ta-da. This yarn is cotton. It's cotton yarn from Joann. It's like the KC Essentials, I think it's called. I don't remember what color either one of these are. Chesapeake, maybe? I don't know. But this color, this color right here bled so incredibly badly. Like, when I normally don't block like stuff like this because I'm just like, oh, you know, just wear it. It'll block out while you wear it. But as I was crocheting with this, I was noticing that it was making a stripe on my finger where the yarn was running over. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to, you know, like block it first to see how much dye is going to come out of it. I almost stained my bathroom sink blue with this yarn. And I was flabbergasted. I was just like, what, how, why, who, what, when, where? But yeah, the color that you're seeing here is so much more, like so much paler, so much more green than the original color of this yarn was. It's actually ridiculous. So yeah, if you get the KC Essentials cotton from Joann, be careful. Don't just throw that thing in the laundry, even though it's cotton. Wash it by itself first, lest ye be weeping. But, holding my arm up, it's a workout. I really like the way that it fits. I like the length of the straps. I like this V-neck that I created. One of the things that I will change, because I do want to make this again, I like this kind of freestyle crochet top. I'm going to make it again in a solid color. And if I do do a two-tone color again, I'm going to make the line lower so that I don't just cut myself off in the middle of my bust. That was not well thought out, but you know, it is what it is. I really like the shaping that I did here. This V is it's like a straight V, but the shaping around the arm kind of curves like that. I am big proud of those details. Yeah, but I really like it. I've worn it a couple times already. It's very comfortable. It's cotton. It's a little bit heavy, but that's to be expected with a worsted weight cotton. But outside of the bleeding like a victim, I liked this cotton. It is very, very soft. After it finally got rid of all of the excess dye, it's a very soft yarn. I like it. Did I take notes on how I did this? Not at all. We'll see if I can ever recreate that. This is my newest, this is my newest finished object. I actually cast this off last night. Yes, I cast this off last night. Wow, I cast this on, I think on August 30th and cast it off on September 7th. So just over a week of knitting on this piece and it's all done. I started this project because I wanted to have something that was just, no, I didn't start this on August 30th. It was a couple days before that. But anyway, so it's about like a week and a half of work to finish this piece. But I wanted to have a project that was all like stockinette in the round, because at work, I work at a university, and the school year or the trimester just restarted the beginning of this week. Yeah, the beginning of this week. Tuesday was the first day of school. The week before the fall trimester starts, we have faculty staff colloquium, and it's basically like all of us are sitting in a room watching presentations. So I needed to have knitting ready. So I cast on this. All that to say, this is the Bamboo Summer Top by Nancy Ricci, who is getting pearly with it. Is that the front or the back? I don't remember. They're the same. So this is the top. I haven't woven in any ends, but I'm very excited about it. I love the way it fits. I used Lion Brand Kobu, which I have a ball down here in a different color. Lion Brand Kobu is like a DK weight yarn, and it is 51% cotton and 49% rayon from bamboo. This yarn is so soft and light, and I cannot wait to wear this thing outside. I'm gonna feel like I'm bringing my own sunshine. I love it so much. Look at how drapey it is. It has this lovely lace pattern at the bottom, which was really nice to knit actually. And then all the stockinette. I used I used all of 2 skeins of yarn and a smidge of a third ball of this yarn. And as you can see, look at all of these ends, right? I have all of these ends in the straps because I went off pattern as I was making this. So one thing that I noticed when I was knitting something else, it was my Secret Summer crop. So the first Secret Summer crop I knit, I knit the decreases, and then the pattern says to knit a certain amount of inches more before you do the straps, and that made the top of it so much higher, and I couldn't really figure out why until I was working on this one. So when I got to this, I knit these decreases, and after you finish this set of decreases, you're supposed to knit, for my size it ended up being like maybe two more inches of just back and forth before you start the sleeves. And after these decreases, I was already up here, so I was like, I don't want to knit this all the way up to my chin. And I was like, well, why, like, am I shorter here? And then I thought about it. Yes, ma'am, you are shorter here because you are part of the itty bitty titty committee. You don't have the length that it would take for like the fabric to cover your chest. The fabric has a shorter distance to go. So kind of when I thought about that, I was like, oh yeah, that does make sense. So I removed a couple inches of length in the top bit, and then had to kind of work the sleeves until I like got them where I wanted them to be. So I ended up basically working the 4 sleeve strap bits in tandem. So like a couple rows on this one, a couple rows on this one, then on this one, then on this one. And I really like how it came out. I really like the way that it fits. I realized that one of my straps, I made 2 stitches too small. So I think it's this side is small. Yeah, it's this side. It's smaller than this one, but it's fine. Whatever. Nobody's going to be looking that closely. And I'm going to be feeling so good in this that it's really not going to matter. So I will be not so much blocking this, because I don't know if you can actually block plant fibers for real, but I am going to wash it, dry it, hang it to see like how it's actually going to settle out, especially this bottom hem. But I'm really happy with this. I love the color. I love the way that this fiber feels. Like I need a pullover, like a pullover sweater in this. So that's definitely going to be something on my to-do list, like my to-make list. So that was all of my garment finished objects. And so now we'll go into non-garment finished objects / other things that I have tried. So we all know that I love a good thrifting excursion. And recently I was puttering, whatever, around one of my local thrift stores, and I found a whole bunch of granny squares that someone had donated. And I think I bought about 20 of them. So I definitely have some left over to work with. But I got home and my initial plan was to make a little throw blanket, but my math was so wrong that when I got home and started putting it together, I was like, this is not a Kalisha size throw blanket. This is gonna be a Tootie size throw blanket. And she has enough blankets. So then I shifted gears and decided to make a tote bag. So this is the tote bag that I made. I am gonna line it because I want it to be more structured, but these are the squares. And I think all of the squares that I got are different. I don't think I have any duplicates. Yeah, no, they're all different. The dark green yarn that I joined them with is from my stash. And one thing that I thought was really cool was that I thrifted this dark green yarn a while ago. What are you crying about, Zeusy boy? Huh? No, you can't come over here. Anyway, yeah, so I thrifted this dark green yarn years ago, and it's just been kind of in my stash, like not really knowing what I wanted to do with it because it is an older acrylic, and older acrylic yarn was strong and tough, like Brillo pads. But I wanted to use this with this yarn because this yarn is also an older acrylic. This is actually quite a bit softer than this part. So I was glad that I could use up this because I'm not going to use this in anything else because it's quite scratchy. But I did. I joined them, then I made a side panel, boop, and then I have a little top border across, some straps. I did the same thing with slip stitching down my strap to stop it from stretching. And so the last thing I need to do in here is just kind of figure out what kind of fabric I want to put inside of it. I have some fabric that I also thrifted, and I think it would be really cool to use thrifted fabric to line this so that it's like a whole thrifted situation. But yeah, I like it. Like, I need more bags, right? So I think what I'm going to do with the other squares that I have left over, I am going to join those like with probably just something super simple, like join them real quick, put a little border on it, and I'll give that little bit, the little tiny blanket to Tootie. And then the last finished object that I have to share with you is a spinning finished object. So I know a couple episodes ago I was talking about trying to spin a 3-ply yarn, and I did. So I don't remember how much yardage is in these. I put a note on my phone, so I'll put on the screen how much yardage I got in all of these. So these two are 3-ply, just traditional 3-ply, 3 individual strands of yarn plied together, and then this one is a chain ply. So you can see how like this one is really chunky with the colors. Like the colors are more they're not mixed up like they are here. I really like this. It's giving very much fall vibes. I like it a lot. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I spun a 3-ply, and I spun all of this yarn using my electric eel wheel. So we're still learning each other. We're still learning each other. But I'm very proud of myself for finishing this project, the whole thing on the electric eel. And those, my friends, are all of the finished objects. So I just have works in progress to share with you guys, and then a stash position that I want to show you, and then some plant mama life and whatnot. Okay. So, works in progress. This stupid pair of socks is still on the needle. Here, I feel like these socks, I don't even know how long these socks have been on the needle. Too long is the answer. So let's see how much further we have to go. Not too much further, just this little bit. So maybe I can do a valiant push to get these done this weekend, but I'm sick of looking at them. It's a pretty color. I'm just tired of looking at them. I'm calling these my Valdosta socks because I got them at a like flea market type thing in Valdosta, Georgia, I think. This is the yarn. It's really pretty. And that's it. Which, like, send me finishing vibes because I need to get these done. That's all she wrote. Let's see. I'm working, is that my only knitted? That is my only knitted current work in progress because I finished the other things. So the rest of these are crochet projects. So I have been putting in a whole lot of work on my Crochet Memories blanket. Oh, my chair is on it. I've been putting so much work on this blanket, and it is bringing me a lot of joy. So the Crochet Memories blanket is a pattern by Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet. And it just makes me feel so good. But let's see. All of these from this row up are new ones since you last saw the blanket. Yeah. So this yarn, oh, come on. Hello. These 3 yarns I got when Lamar and I went to South Carolina recently. This is the yarn left over from my 3rd secret summer crop. And all of these are just yarns from my collection, my leftover minis and stuff like that. Yeah, all of these are leftover yarns. And so what I've been doing, I separated all of my leftovers and minis into sizes, like size groups. So I have a box that has minis that are all less than 10 grams, and I will blend them together. So I put like all of the mixture of grays together. If I have a bunch of greens to yellows, I put those together. This was like a couple blues, different things like that. If I see yarns that I think will go together and I have like a little bit here, a little bit there, I just magic knot them together and make a square. I was thinking that I was gonna go back through and like weave in all the ends, because I have like stuff like this from where I've tied the yarns together and stuff like that, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm really not that pressed. What I'm also not gonna do is cut them, because I've made the mistake of cutting a couple of these ends too short and they wiggled their way loose. And I discovered some holes that I had to quickly like stitch up. But the blanket is big enough for me to cover up with. So I'm always like super cozy while I'm adding squares to it. It's a good time. You'll see another one of my finished objects on here. I made a couple sets of these little number charms to put on my crochet projects to remind me of what size hook that I'm using on those projects. Because one of the things that I was noticing that I was doing is I have a couple projects that use a 4.5 and a 4. And because they're so close to each other, I never really remember which one goes with what. And I don't really write things down. And so specifically with this, I kept forgetting what size I was using on here. So I would have to go back and look at like pictures or vlogs where I'm working on it to look and see what color the hook is that I'm using, because I use the Clover Amore hooks and all their handles are different colors, so that I could figure out what size hook goes with this project. So I got tired of doing that. I bought some numbers, some number beads, and I made little stitch markers that just say the number, the size. Small thing, huge impact. I love it. So now those are hanging on like all of my crochet projects, because I don't have the brain space. I don't have the bandwidth these days to remember things, which is frustrating, but it is what it is. So Crochet Memories blanket is just good times. Good times. Let's see. My next work in progress is one that I'm really, really enjoying. So last episode, I talked about watching the show Twisted Metal, and how there was this one girl in the show who had this granny square top on, and I wanted to make a version of it. So I started off kind of sketching out what the top would look like if I made it to look just like hers, and then I kind of went off script. So this is the like schematic of what I'm creating, and I am using just cotton yarn from the Dollar Tree, and I am making what feels like 957 squares. It's not, it's probably like 45, maybe not even 45, but it's a lot. And I'm kind of running out of steam when it comes to making these squares. But this is what the squares all will look like. So I'm calling it my twisted sunflower top because this makes me think of sunflowers. And I have all of the second color done. So now I just need to put one row of green on all of them. And then I'll be ready to join. So these are the colors that I'm using. Ta-da. This is, I think it's just called yellow. Yep, yellow, hazelnut, and sage. Now, if you so desire to go to the Dollar Tree and use their cotton yarn to make yourself something, check the flippin' dye lots. I have never gotten so tripped up and messed up by mismatched dye lots as I have working with this yarn. Do you know how many Dollar Trees your girl had to go to because I needed one more ball of this yellow? Because the ball that I had was distinctly different. It was like this is the yellow I wanted, but the tone of that wood right there is the yellow I had. Bro, y'all are not even the same color. Come on. So, check your dye lots, friends, because it matters with these. Anyway, so I have all of my second color rounds done, and I have this many of the third color round done. And I have my two little corners that go somewhere. And they're just living in this basket, this fabric basket. I got this from Target, like in their little dollar Bullseye's playground area or whatever. And this is just living in here. I carried it around the house. We being my family, went on a church retreat recently, and I had it in the car, carrying it around there. It was a good time. I'll probably be done with that in 75 years. That is my last little work in progress. Plant mama life and whatnot. I told y'all about talking to my friend's class. That was a whole lot of fun. I mentioned that we went on the church retreat. That retreat was, we went into, I think it's like is it North Florida? I don't know. It was somewhere out in the boondocks where the nighttime, there were so many stars that my heart just felt like it was going to explode by seeing all of those stars. Like at one point when we got up to the camp at like midnight, and I was like, babe, we need to, I immediately need to go outside and just look at the stars. I just need to stand out there with my face to the heavens, right? Because that, it feels like taking a deep breath after you've been holding your breath for a long time for me. Like being in the woods, being out in nature, it's like my whole being got to go. And it just felt so good. At one point, I was standing out there looking at the stars. I just started crying. I was like, Max, I'm feeling. But yeah. So Lamar actually took some really awesome pictures of me playing around with the night camera on his phone. So I'll put them in here. And I just really enjoy when we get to go up to that camp because, y'all, I am a barefoot in the woods kind of girl. I am a take my shoes off and put them in the river, in a mountain stream kind of girl. I am a tree hugger. I am a sit out in the woods and just breathe kind of person, and I hadn't realized, like, I knew that that is like where I am happy, and I didn't realize how much or how long it had been since I was in that until I got there, and I felt like I felt the welcome of nature, if that makes any sense at all. So it was a good time. I'm so glad that we went. And then we got back, and after we got back was when we had the colloquium week at work. We do a mission day, which is like, or not a mission day, a service day, where we do community service at all these different places. And this year, I got to be a team leader. I was like, when I got the email that said, after careful consideration, it has been recommended, like, for you to be a team leader or something like that. I was like, bro, who knows my name? Because I certainly don't, I'm not out here socializing. I'm not out here doing stuff. Like, I'm in my department and I'm doing my job. Like, I mean, I'm friendly as much as I can be, but I'm not out here like, hi, my name is Kalisha. Volunteer me for stuff. No. So when I got the email, I was like, who knows my name? Huh? Okay. And then when I had the meeting with the lady who was organizing everything, because she was telling me about what I would need to do as a team leader and blah, 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 I must have looked so terrified, because she was like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And I'm like, if you say so. If you say so. But I was fine. It was fun. We did, our service location was a place called the Mustard Seed that does furniture donation for families in need. So it was really cool to see, to learn about this this charity, and to see the services they provide, and to like help them sort through their stuff and organize and things like that. Although the side that I was in was not air conditioned, I was basically in a warehouse with no air conditioning in this Florida heat that has been in the 90s, feels like hundreds. I cannot remember the last time I sweat so much. It was disgusting. But, you know, I felt good to be doing things, you know, to be participating in the service. But the next day when I woke up, all of my joints in my entire body were like, no, we're not working. Everything hurt. I could barely walk. Like my fingers, my wrists. I was very conscious of all of the joints in my body after that for 2 whole days. I thought it was so bad that I thought something was going on. Like somebody was like, "Are you sick?" No, I'm just, all of my joints are hurting. I was doing my best not to Google, basically. But so we had colloquium week, did the service day. I survived. My team was like, so what do you want us to tell them when they ask, you know, our opinion on service day? Do you want us to be like, oh, Kalisha was a terrible team leader, don't ever have her be a team leader again? Or we could be like, she was actually really great. I was like, whichever way the spirit leads you. Because I was thinking, like, if they asked me to be a team leader again next year, would I do it? I don't think I would not do it, but I won't volunteer to do it. Yeah, does that make sense? But it was okay. I survived. Then Tuesday of this week, the first day of class, we have the new student orientation. And that is a program that I basically organize the whole thing. And I organize, run it, handle all of the things that need to be handled. I I got up to greet the students at the beginning of orientation, and I was like, "Good morning, future nurses," and they were like, "Good morning." And I told them, I said, "Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, we're going to do that again, because this energy and this like upness that you all see, it's a lie, okay? I am an introvert, so I am using all of my peopling energy right now to be up here with you guys, okay? So I'm gonna need y'all to give me some more energy, because your girl, I didn't say your girl, I was like, because I'm gonna run out of energy by 10 o'clock. And at this point, it was like 9:45. I was like, I'm gonna run out of batteries. So I need you all to give me the energy, okay? And they're all laughing and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so we're gonna try this again. Good morning, future nurses. And they were like, good morning. Thank you. That's what I want every time I come up here. So I was able to, you know, kind of get some more energy from them, you know. But I definitely burned out all of my peopling energy by like at least lunchtime. Like when we had everyone go out and they were getting their lunch and everything, I just had to stand still and kind of like stare off into the abyss for a while before I could continue. And then I had to go out and make sure that lunch was being like was going smoothly, and figure out how to fix something else, some other problem that popped up with one of my presenters, and blah blah blah. It was a lot, but I did it, and I'm always so proud of myself after orientation or after one of these big events, because it takes so much energy, you know, to be that extroverted, captivating person, you know, when that's not my default. And I think that even though I am so introverted myself, I know how to fake it. Like I know how to put on the mask of I know how to put the mask of energy on, right? And I think my years in this portrait studio really helped me hone that, because when you're taking pictures of someone, you have to be able to quickly connect with another person to make them, like, to bring the smile out of them. So whenever I get up in front of a group, I'm pulling that photographer persona out. You know, I'm pulling out the mannerisms that I learned from my mom, because she's like that normally. That's her regular. So I have to put that on. And I'm always really proud of myself when I finish something like this, because I know how much work internally it takes. I wish other people understood how much it takes, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I definitely bought myself I bought myself a congratulatory plant. It wasn't a new plant. I bought another Monstera Adansonii, which you can't see the plant type. It's that kind of plant. Oh, hello. That kind of plant with the little holes in it. I bought another one of those because I want to fill out my plant. But yeah. So that's everything. Oh, that's not everything. After orientation was over, we had, you know, school started. We've had our first week of school, and at the end of last trimester, at my job, they announced a restructuring. And I think I might have mentioned this in the last episode, you know, about the restructuring. But I applied for and was hired into a new position. My new job is going to be the clinical document specialist, which is basically going to be it is what it says on the tin, as they say. It's a clinical document specialist. So I'm going to be making sure that all the student and faculty documents that they need for clinical compliance are up to date, are correct, that nobody is non-compliant. And it's one of the things that we do like as a group in the office, but by them pulling it out and putting it as like one person's job, hopefully it will be enough to balance out the tasks and stuff in the office. So I will be moving into that position. I'm currently in the transition phase between executive assistant to clinical document specialist. And I say transition phase because they have not, I think they just recently posted the executive assistant position. So I can't step out of this position because then there would be nobody here, you know? So I am now straddling these worlds. I'm excited for the change. I think that I have been in a place where I've needed to make a change in my work environment, because I am feeling that it's not working for me mentally the way I need it to be. So I'm hoping that this change will allow me to kind of restructure my days, my existence, to help me to get back to some sort of balance within myself. But yeah, your girl's got a new role that I'm going to be fulfilling at my university, and I'm excited. I'm scared, but I'm excited. And one of the things that keeps coming up is this poem that I heard years ago when I was in college. I used to listen to deaf poetry all the time. There's a poet, and I think her name was Marty McConnell. I don't remember what the poem was called, but the line that has been repeating in my head was, I want to say it was something like, raging fear of where you're headed is proof that you're going in the right direction, or something close to that. And every time I start feeling really scared about the change, the job change, about what are the new tasks that I'm going to have to learn, I'm going to have to interact with new people, am I going to actually be able to do it? Like whenever I start doubting myself and really feeling that fear and I feel it creep in, that line comes up. If you're scared of where you're going, you're scared of where you're headed, then it must be the right direction, you know, because you wouldn't be scared of doing something that wasn't going to cause a change, that wasn't going to cause any growth. Like, to stay the same is not scary. You know what I mean? So that keeps popping up into my head every time I start kind of doubting myself and doubting my skills and just being an overall scaredy cat about this change. I just keep thinking about that. Raging fear of where you're going is proof that you're headed in the right direction, Kalisha. You're headed in the right direction. Also, you prayed about this. And you prayed. And you asked God to open a door because you need a change. That was your prayer. And then this door came up. And I also prayed that when I apply for it, that I would feel at peace about it. And I did, which is not like me. I am an anxious person. So for me to put in the, interest in this new position and fill out, the applications and the resume stuff and all of these other things and submit all of these things, and to have all of this up in the air and not feel anxious about it, I was like, who is she? And then I had to be like, you know what? That's not me. That's God. Because I asked God, give me peace over this decision. And God said, bet. And here I was sitting peaceful, confused, but peaceful. So I then realized that every time I started doubting whether this was the right choice, then I had to be like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm fine. This is where I'm supposed to be. I had this conversation with God so that whenever that little voice comes up in my head and it's like, you're not going to be good in this, you should have done this, you should have done that, I'm checking that voice and I'm saying, look, I don't have anything to say to you. If you have questions or concerns about what I'm doing with this little job situation, if you have questions and concerns, you need to take it up with God the Father, because that don't got nothing to do with me anymore. It's above me now. And that idea and that realization has been such a big thing for me because of how anxious a person, or because of how anxiety is within my life, right? Having the ability to identify this one anxiety and say, you are not here for me. You are not speaking any kind of truth. Carry on, go away, and then to be able to come back to that feeling of peace has been like really, really good. Now, I wish I could take that experience and expand it over my whole life, because I have not been having good days. I've been having a lot of down swings, and I wish I could just be like, everything's fine, you know. But it is what it is, and I understand that things that swing down me and will eventually swing back up, because that's science and it has to, right? But it's good to be able to identify that one place where I can say, like I can redirect that anxiety in that place. So it gives me the understanding that I have the ability, you know, to redirect that anxiety. I just have to learn to do it. And that's okay. It's okay to not know how to do it now. You know, we're always growing and learning and developing, and maybe one day in the future I will know how to address any anxiety that pops up in my head. I'll know how to address and redirect it and be able to continue on in my peaceful, merry way. You know, maybe one day in the future I'll be able to feel a downswing coming and be like, oh, I see you, I understand what you are, and I know exactly what to do to be able to sidestep it and continue on my peaceful, merry way, you know. But I'm just not there yet, and it's okay. I'm gonna stop talking before I start crying, because I feel the tears like coming up in my face. And I guess I say all that to say, it's okay. Like, where you are in the grand scheme of your life, we're okay. We're okay. We're not alone. We are ever growing, ever changing, ever learning, ever developing beings that can have days and months and maybe even years of downness, of sadness, of anxiety or depression or anything like that. But we are all capable of someday learning how to move within that space, how to function in that space, and then we can also learn how to step out of that space and how to function and flourish outside of that space. And yeah, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and thank you for being a part of my universe. Bye, friends.
Then, you know.
There's a big lot there. I just see there's some
Oh my gosh. Did you say nimble and graceful? I love it.
Easy does it, easy does it. And you guys have been here before? Nice.
1984.
You guys know where you're going.
Yeah.
I haven't been on the canoes in about 20 years.
But we understand
Well,
that the
there's
access to the
adventure
treehouse
in
is just
getting
like cut off now.
lost.
You can't go past the, since they
It's
built the
nothing like
overpass,
getting
right?
lost.
Yeah, you'll see like a turnaround sign, and after that it gets pretty shallow, and the river's kind of low too, so it gets even more shallow.
So we can just walk, right?
And Portage, probably.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you gonna come down to walk a little bit?
I don't know. I can't. Well, just shove off. Aw, look at them in the canoe. Like they know what they're doing.
Hey, we're here whenever you guys.
Trying to do a little bit.
It's wonderful.
turning down.
Now you go and pick a partner. La 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 la. Now you go and pick a partner. La 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 la. Now you go and pick a partner. La 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 la. For she likes sugar. I like rum. There's a brown boy in the ring. La 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 la. There's a brown boy in the ring. La 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 la. There's a brown boy in the ring. La 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 la. For he likes sugar and I like rum.